The Acolyte has been canceled by Disney, Lucasfilm and Star Wars have failed, and the very few who cared about that show are losing their ever-loving minds. Today we have video, we have the evidence that those who wish Star Wars would continue to be propaganda, well, they have went into a full-blown, total toddler rage. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel that is changing hearts and minds simply by, well, in this case, remaining sane. And we promise we will continue to be a bastion of sanity right here as we get ready to show you the profanity of those who are angry that the Acolyte is gone. Joining us to shine light upon this very dark corner of the web and the world is Michelle of Force of Light. How are you?
I'm doing good. Ready to see the meltdowns begin.
The meltdown is real, folks. It's nuclear. All right, as we get ready, help us send this video into the nuclear heights that we know it can be by clicking the like button. And here we go. First up, we'll make a stop by thatparkplace.com. The article says that the Acolyte stands meltdown and blame racism, sexism. People, after the show has reportedly scrapped viewership data, was abysmal. John Trent has done a masterful job of covering all of this. And I recommend that people go read this if you would like to see what is the reality behind why Disney was forced to cancel this show. And if you want to see just a documentation of everybody going insane over this. I mean, look at this. Sawyer says, I need to hear it from Star Wars themselves, and they need to explain why they're canceling the only show with a predominantly non-white queer cast that had incredible viewership from audiences that would never have tuned into Star Wars previously. Yeah, I don't think that's good. 335 million minutes for the finale. Barely made the subcategory, folks. That is not Nielsen's overall. That's the subcategory. Michelle, are you ready to see the full-blown meltdown, though? Are you ready to watch it in video form?
Oh, I am ready for this. Ladies
and gentlemen, I recommend that you get a tissue for this one. This is going to be something like you've never seen. All right, here we are. We're over on X. Steph Annie at My Nerdy Home has compiled TikTok reactions. Stephanie, I can't thank you enough for this one. It's glorious. We'll react as we play it. Here we go, folks. Get ready.
So the Acolyte was canceled.
It's definitely because incels didn't like two people of color holding hands.
Michelle, were you bothered by quote-unquote people of color holding hands?
No.
I think they're living in the 1960s.
Yeah, I was bothered by the terrible writing and just the nonsensical nature of the show.
Captain Kirk, I'm recalling a certain interracial kiss that happened, 6 decades ago. Sorry, glass ceiling broken.
We're not going to forget that.
They've hit the second tower.
It was set up to fail from the beginning. When the Acolyte was first announced as a female-run show with Leslie Headland at the helm, starring a black femme and a diverse cast of characters unlike we had seen in a Star Wars project before, the review bombers took to the internet before the show even had a chance to air.
Michelle, who did Leslie Headland work for?
Harvey Weinstein. Weinstein, however you say his name.
Maybe I don't know enough about him. Was he pro-woman?
No. I mean, he liked women, for one thing, but no, I would say he wasn't pro-woman.
Huh. Interesting. I seem to recall that Bryce Dallas Howard also has worked on Star Wars, and there's not been a single complaint ever that I have seen about her.
They got that one director who did great for Mandalorian to do all of the Obi-Wan episodes.
Oh.
Who's actually a woman of color. She's Asian.
Interesting. Well, let's continue on then.
I understand that it got review bombed to an insane degree by so many people who were hating on it just because of what seemed like internal prejudice.
Amanda Stenberg, who not
Let's just hold there for a second. Please help me out, Michelle. What evidence is there that this was review bombed by haters en masse? Can you tell me where the Russians are that did this one? What happened here, Michelle?
Yeah, they've never been able to prove any evidence of this, and I think between viewership, honestly, you can just kind of do like personal you could kind of figure this out on your own. Like any person that brought up the Acolyte to me outside of YouTube, it was like, ugh. Like it just was a general thing. Like people did not like the show. I actually think the Rotten Tomato score pretty accurately reflects. If anything, I think you could question the 77% from the critics.
Oh, I question that. Oh, I question it. These people don't, though. But the sad thing, Michelle, is that they could have had a different outcome.
Mm-hmm.
The way to do that is not to cry after it's canceled. The way to do that is to convince people to watch it in the beginning.
Not only gave a phenomenal performance as Osha, but also as her twin sister May, had no choice but to stick up for themselves and defend herself against.
Uh-oh. Michelle, did you hear that? She accidentally switched the pronouns. Look out! Oh, goodness! We started out with themselves and then switched to herself. Listen again. It's a pronoun confusion. Oh, this is so sad to watch someone do so.
Stick up for themselves and
Themselves!
defend herself.
Herself! Oh!
I actually feel that, that is violence against
It is.
Amanda Sandberg. According to them, it's violence.
It truly is. And the closer to Halloween that we get, Michelle, the more that I identify with the pronouns her and she. Folks, please send me chocolate.
Against the vitriol and bigotry that she was receiving because
She again. Uh-oh.
Lucasfilm did not protect her.
I tend to think that putting out a vile backlash video that you claim that you worked on in 3 days, but clearly was prepared ahead of time. I tend to think that might have had something to do with wiping out the viewership. Wouldn't you say so, Michelle? Maybe, sort of.
Well,
kind of.
it definitely didn't help a show that already was struggling with viewership because the show itself sucked.
I'm thinking that Amandla was probably calling Rachel Zegler to get advice before this video went out. Just
listen, this was so bad. Rachel Zegler was like, "Don't do it, girl."
when Zegler says no. When Zegler says no.
The supposed Star Wars fans were divided, and by that I mean incels of the internet and of Twitter.
Managed to pull.
Michelle, would you consider yourself an incel?
No, and in fact, I actually I brought this up when I did my little reaction to the show being canceled. They keep saying divisive. No. You look at that audience score and you talk to people. This show actually it united the fan base. Like people before who even defended Disney Lucasfilm, all of a sudden were like, man, that they've just gone too far. This show's terrible.
Michelle, I think this level of reaction has little to do with a show being canceled. I think it has to do with them realizing that their propaganda is in danger. That's why they are reacting the way they are.
Off enemies to lovers so well.
Lucasfilm didn't do anything to protect the cast and the crew of the Acolyte.
Why can't the girls have fun things for the girlies? Why?
Hello, Bridgerton.
But it just shows how fragile you guys are to storytelling.
And it was for the girls on board.
Leslie Headland was so dedicated as a fan of Star Wars.
So when Mother Anicia says this quote, and the whole show...
Hold on, pause it.
I've got to pause. What do you got?
Leslie Headland is such a fan that when asked what her favorite Star Wars movie is, her reply was, all of them.
Which is what I always say when somebody says, oh, really? You're a fan of the NBA? Who's your favorite player? All of them. It's so bad.
About people of color.
Ask me what I'm about to do. I'm about to cry. Thank you for asking.
I don't care about what the incel said.
You guys bullied Amanda Stenberg so bad.
The Acolyte, it was kind of to be expected considering how it is set in the universe that has, if not one of then the most toxic fan base like ever.
Okay, pause there. Michelle, this is the thing that drives me a little batty that people actually propagate this. Here's the problem. There's a logical issue here. Saying that Star Wars fandom is the most toxic, blah, 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 is really, really low IQ. And it's low IQ because the same people who like Star Wars are the same people who like Marvel, are the same people who like DC, are the same people who like any number of pop culture items. Yeah. They're not different. It's the same people. You just don't like that one of these brands has been driven into the ground. And by the way, the same thing started to happen to Marvel. We heard about Star Wars fatigue. Then it turned into Marvel fatigue. Then it turned into superhero fatigue. Then it turned into Disney fatigue, because nobody wanted to just outright say that it's not demand moderation. It's that you took these properties into places that people didn't want them to go. So am I wrong, Michelle? Is it inaccurate when they say that Star Wars is a toxic fandom? Is it just society that they hate instead?
I would say you're right. I mean, here's the thing with Star Wars. I know a lot of people didn't necessarily like the prequels when they came out, and you do have that element, but it actually comes from a place of great love. Where Star Wars has arrived now is actually a place of indifference, where Star Wars
Apathy.
fans apathy. Where Star Wars fans we've seen so much crap for so many years, we don't care anymore.
Right. Nobody's buying Star Wars toys for their kids anymore. Nobody's trying to get them to watch the original trilogy with them anymore. Like, it's just done.
Yes, exactly. Where in the past, even say like with the prequels, when those came out and some people didn't like them, there still was a lot of love for Star Wars. There wasn't like hate there, and there definitely wasn't apathy for Star Wars. So yeah, anytime you have fans who are so passionate about something, yes, they're passionate. Sometimes they get mad, but that doesn't mean they're toxic either. So yeah, this whole narrative is just ridiculous. And especially when dealing with a show that, again, look at the audience score. People at the end of the day just did not like the show.
Michelle, you know what I don't hear out of these reactions from these young ladies?
What?
I don't hear any indication that they liked Star Wars before it started doing whatever it is they're hoping for it to do. Like, they're not fans, it doesn't sound like to me, of Star Wars outside of their propaganda bubble.
Yeah. No, I would say that's probably accurate. Every Star Wars, I do not know a Star Wars fan who liked the show. And I'm even speaking to people that have been very gracious in how they've covered Star Wars the last several years even. And even them, that this show was just so bad that they were like, the show's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, quality-wise, it's just, qualitatively, it is awful. There's nothing redeeming about it. Special effects are terrible. The lighting, I guess, was good. I think we did come up with that. The high dynamic range.
The dark lighting where we couldn't see what was going on.
Well, okay. Some episodes had somewhat decent lighting. There you go, folks. See, well, now we said that Lee Jung-jae did a really good job acting. He just was given a garbage character with a garbage story that had morality inverted. But other than that, he gave the performance that he could with what he was given. Let's keep going. Let's see how they keep giving to us.
To receive this news, I like him.
I am mourning the fact that we're not getting any more Khmer edits because we're not going to get any more source material.
What?
I have no words for that one.
Well, speaking of toxic, so these girls like a toxic relationship where you get involved with a bad guy?
The guy who just killed everyone you loved.
Yeah.
And 5 minutes later, you're like, oh, well, you're naked now. Okay. But they can't ship them on social media, so that's going to be 16 hours of their day they don't have to fill with that. Sorry.
What do you mean? It wasn't bringing in the
The viewership was not bad. The press.
Oh, wow.
You know, it's hard in these moments when someone has cognitive dissonance to this level. Andor season 1 was so bad in viewership that they condensed Andor from a planned 5 or 6 seasons to 2.
Yes.
So they've got to finish the second season because money was already sunk into it. The Acolyte, its viewership was half of Andor. It's in Willow territory.
Yeah,
If it were not Star
it even
Wars,
beat Ahsoka?
right
I thought it was
Oh.
less than Ahsoka, right?
It is 40% lower than Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And Ahsoka was a sucker.
Yeah.
Considering this is setting is very scary and very concerning. What Lucasfilm is doing with this decision is
Lucasfilm didn't make this decision, sweetie.
allowing the bigots to win, allowing the bigots.
Michelle, she just called you a bigot. Sorry for that. You're a bigot. Sorry, Michelle.
Apparently so. Yeah, allowing the bigots to win. No, like this show, it was just genuinely terrible. Like if
Michelle, I'm not a bigot. I wanted more of this sucker. I mean, this is a gold mine for me, so I wanted more. So I'm not a bigot.
Yeah. No, I mean, as YouTubers, we're upset. I mean, we made more money than Disney on this all day long.
I mean, this was the Last Jedi all over again. So I don't know. I think maybe we escaped the begot categorization in this case from this young lady.
Gets to run with this and decide, even if that's not the original intention of canceling the show, that they have won, that they are correct, that Star Wars needs to be white and male, and it can't be any.
I don't recall that Mace Windu was a divisive character in Star Wars. Do you recall that?
No, nor Lando.
Well, until he fell in love with robots, which is what Lucasfilm turned him into later. A robot-loving scoundrel that he became. I think all of this is gaslighting because they are nervous that hijacking a franchise for their own propaganda failed. And it failed so badly that a company that's apt to do so couldn't do so anymore.
Yeah, no, and it absolutely failed, and it should have failed because they haven't put out anything good other than, I mean, I know some people like Andor, it was fine towards the end of it. It got interesting. But really outside of The Mandalorian, they've really had nothing that's been a big success. And by that, I mean the first 2 seasons before they screwed that up by firing Gina.
Massive day for incel YouTube channels with under 10,000 subscribers making the worst clickbait and problematic videos you have ever seen, says Jacob, period.
Well, I would like to tell Jacob that we now have at least 40,000 subs when I made that video. So deal with that, Jacob.
But Jacob has a period at the end of his name, so still a win. Neither you nor I have punctuation in our titles. And that, I think, really points to a win for Jacob. Acolyte not winning, folks, but if you'd like to win, go over and subscribe to Force of Light Entertainment, where indeed Michelle and Natalie just hit 40K, and 40K never looked so good. Michelle, what do you got coming up now that the celebrations are, well, they're still ongoing, but you're now putting those in the rearview mirror as you aim your sights on 50. What do you got coming up?
Yes. We just put out our first time watching reaction of Leslie Nielsen Taken. We really enjoyed that one. And then we've got coming out next week our first time watching reaction of we're going Nicolas Cage, Con Air, and The Rock.
You know how good it was to hear you say Leslie and Headland didn't come after it? You know how good that felt? Back to the good Leslies of the world. Folks, make sure you go check out a channel that is good in this world, and that is Force of Light Entertainment. Be subscribed before they hit 100K so you can say you were part of the beginning. Also, folks, help us drive this video out into the stratosphere. Click that like button, share, subscribe. Click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And share with us, please, your tears, your sorrow at the ending of a show that had no viewership. We would love to hear from you. Folks, also don't forget to visit our partner channels out there. That Park Place, That Game Place, That Pod Place, and oh yeah, Vacation Radio, where we will be releasing tomorrow our Halloween soundtrack. Get a first taste of the spooky sounds of October a little bit early as we get ready to change things over and have fun this autumn. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you soon. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
This is Wilton the Troll reporting for That's Park Place, and I'm surrounded by loving and adoring people who are peacefully trying to make sure that poor kids aren't cold in the winter. And just behind me, you can see a totally natural bonfire for baking cookies or making marshmallows.
Yeah, so, Wilson, we really appreciate the effort and stuff, but we're looking for real and, accurate news reporting on That Park Place.
So not like most news outlets, huh?
No.